Our purpose quickly is to create moments for the mind and for the body and for you to connect with yourself and each other. And so whether that is in person or virtually, we won't stop no matter what's happening in the world. And so my personal motto is what you focus on expands. So I want to take a second and focus on gratitude and I just want to say we're incredibly grateful for our partners, Baptist Health, who've stuck with us. And we're very grateful for you who inspire us. And we're incredibly grateful for today's panelists. I'll take a minute here. I'll introduce our city's fearless leader, Mayor Francis Suarez, educator, philanthropist, and the First Lady of the Miami Heat, Nikki Sapp Spoelstra. Hello, Spoelstra. And our meditation guru who has been with us from the very, very beginning, Eli Bravo. Welcome, guys. Thank you. We suggest everyone puts it on gallery so you could see everyone at the same time. And with that, take it away. Hi, guys.
Hey, how's it going?
Hi, everyone. Eli here. Mayor Suarez, Nikki, hi. How's everyone? Sorry, we had a little hiccup for me joining the session. Today is World Meditation Day, and I'm delighted to have this special guest for our session brought to you by Mind, Body, Social, and Baptist Health. Nikki, how are you? How are you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you. Excited for today.
Great. And Mayor Suarez, how are you?
The same. I don't have as exciting a title as Nikki has, but otherwise I'm doing well.
So for you who are joining us from Miami, you know that our guests are native Miamians, but to everyone else who's watching us from different parts of the world, Nikki Sapp Spoelstra is a philanthropist. She's a driving force in our community. She has been working with the Miami Learning Experience School, and she's married to Eric Spoelstra, the Miami Heat coach. And Mayor Suarez, who is with us, is the mayor of the city of Miami. And today we're going to do something that I think is going to be fun. It's going to be Meditation 101. We're going to talk a little bit about meditation. We're going to do a practice together. And I want to start with Nikki because I was told that you just tried a meditation challenge. Is that true?
Yes. So I've always been really familiar with meditation, but I made a promise to myself this January, sort of a New Year's resolution, that I would meditate more. And I didn't really get into a rhythm until this pandemic occurred, until COVID. And I realized that it was essential to my emotional and mental well-being. I started doing a challenge, and I'm on a 17-day streak now that I'm really proud of, because when you're juggling two little babies at home, it can be challenging sometimes to find some alone time to decompress.
Okay, sounds like you're a mindful mother, which is great, but it's always challenging. Yeah, no. And talking about challenges and COVID-19, Mayor Suarez, I mean, you know this situation firsthand. Literally by mid-March, we learned you tested positive. And how are you doing now?
I'm doing great. Physically, I feel great. I was very lucky to have been in a category of people that don't experience very severe symptoms, thankfully. And I thought I was going to have more time when I was in quarantine for 18 days to meditate. And unfortunately, it was probably busier. Those 18 days were probably busier than the prior 18 days. So it was an interesting experience. And unfortunately, couldn't be with my family for 18 days. That was definitely the hardest part by far.
Absolutely. And we follow your video blog, so we were always up to date. But had you tried meditation before? Had you had any previous experience?
So I'm very religious, and I do believe in the power of prayer, and I do believe in the power of taking time out of your day to dedicate it, whether you call it meditation, whether you call it prayer time, just to sort of be alone, be with yourself, be with your thoughts, and kind of take a little bit of, some of it is active, some of it is passive, taking a little bit of a stock of what you're doing well, what you can improve on. My particular case, of course, I like to sort of put it to a higher being in a sense, but I definitely think that there's a huge benefit. We are in such a, intense world. Our world is so intense. And it's interesting that when you get sick, oftentimes that's when you realize just how intense your world is, or when you're at a point where you literally can't get out of bed and you realize, man, I'm missing this and I'm missing that. And it's interesting. I think that this pandemic has hit sort of a pause button in all of our lives and has forced us to, in many ways, sort of regress into a world that was almost like 40, 50 years ago, where, people worked a more regular schedule. They got to see their family a lot more. And that has, I think, created a lot of positive things, and it's created a lot of challenges for us young adults with young kids.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, as a father, as a mother, I have my daughters too. Definitely, this is a time where we have been able to reassess and see what's really important. What do we want to do? And I will take one of the words you mentioned, Major, about the pause. Because in mindfulness practice, we try to make that pause consciously during the day so we can be with ourselves. As you said, watching what's happening in the moment, even our thoughts. And also, you mentioned the power of prayer. And when we pray with the full intention, feeling the words, embodying those words and the prayer, it's a contemplative practice. So, I mean, it's completely related. I'm curious about Nikki. Would you share any benefit that you have so far gotten from meditating?
Yes, I definitely feel a lot more peaceful, less reactive, towards anything. Like I do take that pause, like the mayor said, especially when you have small children. When my baby's crying, like I'm less reactive to, or I'm less likely to get frustrated. And I can come from a place that is more compassionate and more full of empathy. And I find that I am able to perform my best when I've meditated. And I personally prefer to do that first thing in the morning, or as soon as I'm able to, first thing in my day. And I find that it kind of sets the tone for the rest of the day and all my experiences that follow.
Great. And now that you use the performance, which is so important in the way we perform with our family, but also at work, Major, you think it's possible to open that pause, maybe those 5-10 minutes in your day, or for anyone who has a high performance work? Do you see that something that can be part of your daily schedule?
I think it's actually necessary. And I think in some ways, the busier, the more intense of a life you live, probably the more you need it, because we all have to sleep a certain amount. We all would like to be able to exercise at some level on a daily basis, if possible, for our health. And I think we need space. And I think in a world where we're inundated with stimulus, I mean, there's so much stimulus. It's the phone, the text messages, the emails. It's constant. I mean, it's never ending. And so you have to, if you don't create a certain amount of discipline, and it's hard. I'm not saying it's easy. It's certainly difficult, and it's easy to get away from. You know what I mean? Because it's easy to let the world crowd in on that space and that time. But if you don't discipline yourself, and I like what Nikki said, I agree. I like to do it in the morning, because I do think that in the morning you have to set yourself up. You know what I mean? You have to figure out, okay, what kind of a day is this going to be? And I'd say 50% of it is it's mental. The day is going to be what I allow it to be, right? Irrespective of what happens on the outside, because those are things you can't control oftentimes. And then I think you can only control your attitude, your response to it. And I think that's important. And here's my little 6-year-old running into the room, of course. And you can control that. There he goes, just flying through. He's going to be a basketball player, by the way, Nikki. So tell your husband to keep an eye out for him.
All right.
Yeah, but you know what? And that's the beauty of this practice, because it gives you the power to harness the attention, because distractions and things happening all the time. Little kids, and you know about that, Nikki, the same way Mayor knows, and also for. So we have these situations that happen. Life happens all the time. But if we are able to harness the attention and practice how to keep our attention, to focus our attention, then we will be not just less reactive, as Nikki said, but also we are there for those who need us. It can be our kids or it can be our citizens. So how about if we try then a couple of minutes of meditation? Are you guys willing to meditate with me and everyone who's joining us?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you for letting me. So for everyone who's now with us, the first thing we have to keep in mind is that this is a simple practice. Keep it simple. There is nothing else but to be here. You just need your body. You'll be breathing, and we will be paying attention to the present moment. And that means sounds, our loved ones coming into the room. Maybe, I don't know, there's a lot of thoughts going on because it's midday and probably the day has been wild so far. That's all part of the practice. So don't hang to the notion that you will keep your mind blank, like a blank slate. Actually, that can be kind of hard, but just be a witness of what's happening. Find a comfortable position. I see Major, you're sitting on a chair. Nikki, you're sitting on a chair too. Yeah, you can roll your shoulders as Nikki was doing because you want to stretch a little bit, feel good, no? And find a position where you can be alert and at the same time relaxed, that your back can be straight but without tension. And we will start using the power of breath. So we will inhale through the nose deeply and exhale through the mouth, and make that exhalation a little bit longer and relaxing. That's it. Again, you inhale deeply, fill your lungs, and you exhale through your mouth and let any tension go out. Feel your body as you're breathing. Do it one more time at your own rhythm. Inhale deeply. And as you exhale through your mouth, you might want to close your eyes softly and then bring your breath to your nose. So you are just breathing in and out, eyes closed. If you don't feel comfortable with your eyes closed, that's perfectly fine. You can open them and find a spot in front of you or the floor where you can rest softly your gaze. Eyes open or closed, you're basically breathing. There's no need to control the breath. You just let it go in and out. Feel your body as it's breathing. There's certain movement, a sensation of expansion and contraction. Maybe feeling the chest rising and then falling, or the abdomen. It's like a balloon, fills with air, and then the air goes out. So when you inhale, you know you're inhaling, and you feel it. And when you exhale, you know you're doing it, and you're also feeling it. And feel your body sitting on the chair, feeling the points of contact. How your body is supported. And also you want to feel your feet touching the floor. You're grounded. You might notice that as you try to keep your attention on your breath and the body resting on the chair, maybe you have some thoughts or sensations or emotions that they pass by. You can notice them and then softly, kindly come back and rest your attention on your body, in that part of your body where you can feel the breath. That can be the abdomen or the chest. Maybe it's a sensation in your nostrils. Maybe it's the whole body that you feel breathing. Inhaling, it expands. And as you exhale, it collapses a little bit. Enjoy the silence and this moment to be with yourself. whatever is happening or arising. Again, you might notice your mind planning for the rest of the day, or your attention going to something that happened this morning, or any part of your body that might be itching or has some pain. You can register that, you know that's happening, and then softly, kindly come back to your body and feel that part of your body where you can notice the breath. Rest in the awareness. Nothing to do, nowhere to go. Just be here for a minute. Let's close this brief practice by inhaling deeply, connect with the whole body, and exhale and release any remaining tension. Let's do it one more time. Inhale vitality, inhale life. And then you exhale any tension. When you feel ready, you can open your eyes. How was it, Nikki?
That was awesome. One of the things I love most about meditating is being present. I think it's so easy to get caught up in what happened earlier and what's going to happen in the future, and just preparing what's coming, or getting anxious about things we have no control over. And what I love about meditating is I just felt so present. I could hear the things that are going on outside, and I just feel like I'm very much here.
And that's a great way to describe it, Nikki, because you're basically knowing what's happening as it's happening, but then you can come back to yourself and to the awareness. You know, you're able to notice it, but you don't engage with everything that's happening. Something that I guess, Mayor, can be very useful for those stressful situations you might find at your office, some situations that might not be the most pleasant, but you have to be present, fully present, isn't it, Mayor?
Yeah, and I think the other thing about it is that if we become accustomed to being tense, I think we are almost our default position is tension, right? A certain amount of tension, whether it's mental tension or physical tension or both, probably both. And I think when you do that exercise of meditation, it's like you're giving your body relief. You're giving it almost a certain level of medicine that it needs to sort of combat the constant tension that you're under. And that, for me, is something that, you know, I probably should do more often throughout the day, because, and you know, it's sad because what happens is you become accustomed to the tension. It's almost like, you know, it's like an alcoholic. I hate to use that phraseology, but it has built a tolerance. You become very tolerant to that tension, right? And so much so that when you go on vacations, I don't know if this happens to you, Nikki, but it happens to me. It takes time for you. If you go on a vacation, you're still in the world. You're still, you know, you can't like let it go. And it takes 2-3 days before you actually start relaxing, which is unbelievable to think that it takes you. And sometimes your vacations are only 2-3 days. So, you know, you go on a weekend vacation where you're supposed to relax, and it's really hard to relax. So I think this is a way of relaxing and creating a vacation in a normality of space that I think, you know, I certainly should probably do more often on a daily basis.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you for that, because it's true. We get used to it. It becomes like a habit to be like an on all the time. And of course, you might notice it. And here's where the practice is very useful, that you notice that you're planning. You might be sitting on the beach and say, oh, this is such a beautiful day, but you're thinking about what's happening on the office. If you're able to notice it and then kindly go back to the body and enjoy what's happening, you're doing a mindful practice, 100%. I know, Major, you have a lot to do. We have probably 4 more minutes with you. I want to ask you, and then
Wish I could just be here all day.
yeah, well, I love to. I mean, I'm all for it. Now that we are reopening, re-engaging, some people say we're going back to our lives. I would like to know what are your hopes, for you as a father, as someone from Miami, of course, also as a native, but your hope for these coming weeks.
Well, my hope is, obviously we've experienced something unprecedented. When I think we started canceling large events very early, like Ultra and Calle Ocho. But actually, interestingly, I think it wasn't until some of the major leagues like the NBA, Major League Baseball, soccer canceled their seasons or postponed their seasons that I think they really went into the mainstream consciousness of people how pervasive this virus was going to impact our lives. And I think that there's some things that are going to change forever. I do think that the virtuality of our life is going to be very different. I mean, I think now, you see the ubiquity in obviously these virtual platforms, and I think that's something that's here to stay. And I think, I think what my hope is that we can responsibly, as we start reopening, which we started reopening yesterday, and I allowed the major league teams to start playing again, practicing, as we begin this process, that people do it responsibly, because what we've looked at in terms of the data is if we're responsible, like we have been over the last couple of months, or since we put in these stay-at-home orders and all these other things, we see the decline is set. But what we saw before that those things were implemented, the increase was rapid, right? It was about 3 times more intense than the decline is right now. What that tells us is that we can go back to that place very quickly if we're not responsible. So I'm hopeful that we're responsible. And I hope that, to put it in the context of what we're talking about here today, that this pause button, this societal pause button that we've hit, becomes part of our new normal. Everyone talks about the new normal. And I think part of hopefully the new normal is spending more time with our families, maybe obsessing a little bit less about the material things that we have in life, or wanting to make X number of dollars or achieve this thing. We're very achievement-driven society, right? Where we want to do this, we want to do that. And maybe spend a little bit more time, as Nikki said and as you said, in the moment, really enjoying what we have, because we have a lot, probably have a lot more than what we think we have. And if we just stay in the moment, which is really hard to do, and enjoy it, the satisfaction level will go up, and the need for more things and new things and different things will probably subside. And that's my hope.
Great. Thank you very much. It's like we have to remember the most important thing is the most important things. And now we know what's important. Absolutely. And Nikki, how about you? What are your hopes now that we're reopening, and you're also, starting with things that we're doing a couple of months ago? We can say that. I think that we're on a different standpoint now.
I'm looking forward to getting back into the swing of things. As a mother, I can see the effect that it has on small children, not being able to see their buddies and go out to play in the park. And that's, as adults, we just function, we go, we power on, and we don't need to do a whole lot of explaining to ourselves, because we can comprehend these things without really intentionally thinking about it. But when you're working with or dealing with small kids and they don't totally get why they can't see their buddies, it's really hard, and it's sad to have them cooped up in the house. So I'm excited for things to get going in that regard. I'm excited to be able to see kids get back together. But I do think it's so important for people to be intentional moving forward. And like the mayor said, it can go from here to there really quickly if we're not responsible and we're not cautious. And really it's about respecting ourselves and respecting each other. Because, you see some people who might not operate that way, and we're young and healthy, and that might not affect us, but you never know who this can negatively impact. So I think we're going to have to be really smart and come from a place of compassion as we move forward in this new normal.
Absolutely. It has been a teaching on interdependence. We take care of others by taking care of ourselves, and that's a key. Mayor Francis, I would like just to close with So your words, if you want to tell something to the world, the people who might not be from Miami, but from you who were born in Miami, same as Nikki, what you would like to tell the world about Miami right now, that they should know about us?
I would say that this is the best place on the planet. I would say that there is no other city in the world that I've traveled extensively that has the diversity of culture, the diversity of people, the diversity of experiences that Miami brings together. I think maybe for our parents' generation, it was becoming a known secret, and I think the secret is out. And so I think what we're seeing now is the final evolution of a city that has really spent the better part of half a century evolving, and we're seeing it evolve in culture and sports, in entertainment, in all the things that you would consider us being a world-class city. And I think that really the one thing that we should all work on together is precisely what we're talking about today, which is understanding that in our desires to achieve, because it's a constant desire to achieve whatever it is, sometimes we have to understand that we have achieved and we should savor the achievements. And as a city, we have arrived. We don't have anything to prove necessarily. We have obviously things that we want to get better at. We certainly, for my generation, I'd love to see our economy be more tech oriented. And I'd like to bring the last few remaining sports that we don't have here, like Formula One and soccer, Major League Soccer, to complete us and continue to have more culture as a city, because I think culture enriches you intellectually and spiritually, and those are things that, and then of course continue to be have that spirit of generosity and giving back that I think characterizes any major city.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mayor, for those words. And Nikki, you also, your Instagram account, I mean, it's there. You're a Miami native. You're very proud of it. What would you like the world to know about Miami?
I agree with Mayor that it is the best city in the world. I mean, I didn't live in Miami for about 2 years after college. And when I got back, I just had so much of a greater appreciation for the city. And don't sleep on Miami. Miami is becoming a powerhouse of health and wellness too. So, people identify with the West Coast for health and wellness, but Miami is becoming a powerhouse for health and wellness. People are awakening to what's going on in society and what's going on the inside. And I think that everybody can know Miami as home.
I like that. Yeah. So compassion, gratitude, and this desire to share what we have, I think, can be a power force from now on for all of us. And also knowing that we can pause to enjoy and pause to be there. I want to thank Mayor Francis Suarez and Nikki Sapp Spoelstra for being with us. I mean, for me, it has been an honor. And I love to see what happens with your meditation challenge, Nikki. And yeah, and also Mayor Suarez with bringing a little bit of also mindfulness at that pause to all the challenges that you have ahead. All the best for you, and may we all be healthy, be well, and be happy. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And thanks to all of you for sharing with us. My name is Eli Bravo, and this was brought to you thanks to Baptist Health and Mind Body Social. Please follow us in our social media feed so you can learn more about the upcoming events. Until next week, I'll see you, and be well. Take care. Bye.
All right, take care.
Bye.